Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the week 9 guest lecture. I hope everyone is doing well. We're almost at the end of this quarter and summer's almost here, so please hang in there. The topic of today's guest lecture is Optimism and Health, and the subtitle is Can You Be Too Positive? And as you can see, a more academic title would be Detrimental Effect of Unrealistic Optimism on Health and Goal Adjustment Strategy. If you recall from one of the last week's lectures, we already touched upon the situations where having an unrealistically optimistic expectation could be harmful. This lecture is about exploring that phenomena more in detail with the relation to your health. And let me start by overviewing the literature about optimism and the flip side of it as well. It is very easy to find the studies on the health benefit of optimism. You can find the tons of studies on the advantages you can get by having an optimistic attitude. If you have an optimistic view on your health perspective, you're more likely to engage in health behavior more frequently. Your immune system becomes stronger, you live longer, and you're less likely to experience depressive symptoms. And this benefit has been studied pretty much thoroughly, especially in the cases where the patients are trying to fight certain disease or trying to overcome chronic conditions. So it has been widely known that when you have optimistic expectations of the recovery process, you're very likely to recover much faster, experience less of reoccurring symptoms, and in the long run, it even helps you live more satisfactory life compared to the disease-free counterparts. However, the question we're dealing with today is, despite all these benefits of optimism, would it be also possible that you become too much optimistic? And the answer is yes. There's a flip side of optimism. We all have health goals. The goals might differ by age, but there are typical health related goals in every age group. For example, when you're in the young adulthood, the goals would be staying fit, eating healthy, or honing your physical skills to enjoy certain sports, or quitting smoking and drinking less could be your goals as well. And then when you are in the late adulthood, your goals might be something like recovering from loss of certain bodily function, or it could be about adapting to the new lifestyle that comes from a certain functional decline. And those goals sometimes can be unrealistic. Sometimes you overestimate your health state and you aim for too high. And when you become overly ambitious like that, it may work against your health. To begin with, whether you have disease or not, if you are too much confident about your health state or your physical capability, you're less likely to engage in health behaviors. In other words, you're more likely to engage in health threatening and risky behaviors. And you're more likely to adopt more of unhealthy habits, and also you may be less likely to follow health related guidelines because you somehow assume that you're an exception to the rules. The problem could be even more serious with the presence of functional loss. In rehabilitation processes of recovering your lost function, people often visit the clinics with very high expectations. Although they know that the chance for the complete recovery is often very low, they often just assume that they are going to be one of those few who achieve the complete regain. So they start with very high expectation, and it only leads to disappointment. And if they fail to let go of that initial goal and remain obsessed, it could result in detrimental effect both psychologically and physically. So how can we prevent that from happening? One of the solutions would be goal adjustment strategy. It's really simple. You start from getting a realistic evaluation of your health goal. And then, if your current goal seems to be attainable, you stay optimistic. But when it seems like your initial goal is not attainable, then you should lower your goal quickly so that you don't get buried under disappointment or start ruminating. And then you may start being optimistic with the new goal. So it requires some degree of flexibility, the capacity of which differs very much from person to person. But that individual difference is another huge topic that might require another lecture. So let's focus on the process of goal adjustment for now. So let's see how it happens in rehabilitation context. In a rehabilitation process where the complete recovery is expected and when the full recovery is a promising goal, maintaining the high level of engagement in that goal usually brings you an optimal outcome because it helps you put more effort, it helps you take more actions, and the actions you take will be more persistent. But when you are informed that the full recovery may not be possible, may not be attainable, it could be more beneficial if you could disengage from the overly ambitious goal of the complete recovery and re engage in the new alternate goal based on more realistic perception of the situation. And ironically, by this way of lowering your goal, you can maximize the amount of recovery achieved. And of course, for this process to take place, two things are really important. Two things are critical. First, uh, just simply disengaging is not enough, but you must re engage and become optimistic for that new goal. Unless this process of re engagement is accompanied, you're just being avoidant. And secondly, of course, you should have some means to evaluate your current status realistically. And now, let me introduce a study related to what I just explained. It is my project actually. I'm submitting the manuscript to a journal in a few weeks, so this lecture is like an early publication for me. I analyzed a dataset collected from a clinical trial. It was a trial of a rehabilitation program for regaining arm function. And in that trial, we recruited the post stroke patients who experienced arm function paralysis. From the analysis, we were able to capture the danger of having an unrealistically optimistic expectations, and we also captured the positive effect of goal adjustment process. Let me get into more detail. The rehab program we used is called telerehabilitation because it was conducted online, and it is conducted through the video game station installed in the patient's own home, usually equipped with the specially designed game controlling pads that are supposed to induce certain arm movements. So basically, the patients played video games with the controllers similar to Nintendo Wii, if you know what that is. And in every game they played, they were given game scores feedback as well. And this is very important in this study because by getting the game scores, they were constantly informed of the realistic evaluation of their recovery progress, which is the very first step of applying a goal adjustment strategy. And we focused on the patients who were getting very low scores in general because they were the ones who needed to adjust their goals. And what we did is we measured their use of goal adjustment strategies throughout the therapy, and we observed if that uh, application of goal adjustment therapy affected their emotion or recovery outcome. And we found an interesting contrast within the group whose game performances were really poor. For those who actively used goal adjustment strategy, they were able to maintain very high level of enjoyment throughout the therapy. they achieved more recovery and they left the therapy very much satisfied. However, for those who failed to adjust their goals and remained holding on to the overly ambitious recovery goals, they enjoyed the therapy less, they achieved less of recovery, and of course, they left the therapy program dissatisfied. So, I believe that this result could be one of the examples of showing that becoming too optimistic might be dangerous for your health, and goal adjustment strategy may prevent that. Okay, so to wrap up, this is the conclusion of the lecture. So, what does it mean to be positive with your health goals? Of course, always forcing yourself to stay optimistic no matter what cannot be the answer. Instead, I would like to say that it is very important to be able to accept the setbacks in your situation and discover some positivity in it. And I think that's the true positive attitude. Anyway, that's the end of this lecture. If you have further questions, please let me know. And I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for joining.